Hello, it's the 7th of May 2024. The clock is like a quarter to 9 p.m. I think. And yeah, it's been a while actually since I've last recorded a video, and it's because some days, 2 days I was being a lazy person, and other days I was just busy. Of course I ran, but I didn't really record it. So beautiful sunset and cat. The weather right now is actually fantastic. It's really nice. As you can see, I'm wearing shorts. So I'm gonna run now, and then afterwards I will talk about some things that I have written down on a piece of paper, and also some verses from the Bible. So let's do it. Alright, piece of paper, guess right there. Then let's begin writing. So alright. Just quickly looking at the clock. Okay. 3, 2, 1, go. Alright. I think I saw the clock and what the time was. So I think the time was around 3 minutes and 15 seconds, which is not even close to my best right now, because my best is, my personal best right now is 2 minutes and 55 seconds. So yeah, and yeah, it's been a while since I've like tried to beat the record. Of course, I've been running every day. I run 1 kilometer every day, but I haven't really been sprinting as fast as I can. And yeah, I could definitely feel that my lungs couldn't really take in any breaths of air and oxygen on my way back from the turning point. And your eyes, or my eyes, begin to tear up when I'm running low on oxygen. So yeah, and my eyes began to tear up like 50 meters after the turning point, like going back from the turning point. Like the turning point is up there somewhere. I have calculated it, and I'm pretty sure that it is more than 1 kilometer that I run. So, I am sure it's definitely more than a kilometer, but I just say it's a kilometer to not like use it as an excuse, because I still can beat my last record, of course. And yeah. Oh, you're following me. Yeah. Alright. I face up on the cat. Hello. Hello. Yeah. So, actually, a thing I want to say before I start reading my notes for today is that you should always try to change a negative situation, feeling, or thought that you might be getting into a positive thought or feeling or situation. You need to be like an alchemist at turning the negative thoughts into positive thoughts, turning everything negative in your life into something positive. And that is something that I'm really working on, that I'm trying to do, because now I say to myself that every negative situation is God putting me through a trial or tribulation, challenge, to see my faith, trust, loyalty, and love for Him, and also give me a challenge that I can use in my life going forward. It will give me wisdom and knowledge and know how you can manage, how we can manage that kind of situation. And like after that situation happens, you can reflect on it, I'm actually pretty reflective on situations. Like, I remember the weirdest little screw-ups that I made. Of course not all, but I remember a lot of screw-ups that I make and I have made in the past, like years back, and also this week. And I always think of how I should have said something different and acted different. I always think about that, and yeah, I think it is good because you reflect on how you should have behaved, so you can develop your mind and yeah, how you think you should act. But also sometimes I think of it as a negative feeling, because if I always can like instantly look back on something that I did wrong 7 years ago, even more, like weird things I did like 11 years ago, I can remember. And also just this week, and yeah, many things I remember. And like, it's not always good to be able to reflect and remember bad things like that, because yeah, you remember, you're better to remember the bad things that happen to you than all the good things that happen to you. You take a lot of things for granted, and yeah, that's a big problem for me. It's like, it gives a bit of insecurity and like proof in a negative way that you do a lot of things wrong. Like bad proof for you, proof that you aren't as great as you would hope you are. Yeah. Yeah. That's what I want to say for that. So let's start with some notes right here. And while I get ready, I want to say that I really appreciate the comments that I get. They mean a lot to me, because it's a different perspective on like situations and questions. Like, I get to reflect on different things in my life, because I want to answer the questions and comments that I get as like deeply and well thought out as possible. And yeah, I really appreciate them, because of what I said. It gives me something to think about, and yeah, both some motivation from the outside to do better in running and in just your way of thinking, your perspective, your philosophy, life philosophy, and things like that. And also like a bit of pressure to actually do things. Pressure to keep recording, because I have experienced that actually when I try to prep some things for a run, some things to say that I have thought about, I don't really want to do it, because I think of it more as like a more like work and something bad or boring that I have to do, something that I really don't want. Even though I want to share some thoughts and maybe get people to think a different way for a couple of seconds or minutes, and maybe help someone in some way. So yeah, let's see what I've written down, because I have written a lot of things. So yeah, so there's a famous mathematician and Christian believer named John Lennox that I really like, because he talks about the proof, scientific proof for God, and that is something that I really want to that I really appreciate, because I want to know, like, if my way of thinking is the correct way and if I'm just being delusional. But yeah, he talks about that, and he gives me trust in Jesus Christ, because he provides and talks about all the scientific proof that there is for God, and the resurrection and existence of Jesus Christ. And yeah, he said one time in a video that you should always try to say good night and good morning to God. Make it a habit to end your day and start your day with God, because he is the most important thing that should be in our mind and in our life. He should always be the number one priority in any aspect of your life. And yeah, try to make it a habit to say good night to God. To say good night to God. And of course, I still struggle with this. I have become quite good at saying good night to him and thank him for the day. Just like, thank you for the day, God. Good night. Good night. Good night, God. And yeah, of course, I do a prayer before saying good night. A afternoon prayer. I only pray once a day. I should try to up that amount of prayers that I do daily, but I experience when I try to wake up earlier, I'm just really tired, and yeah, I don't really feel like if I do 2 prayers right after the other in the evening, I don't feel like they're 2 separate prayers, and that I necessarily give more like glory, respect, and respect to God, just because I do 2, because they're right after each other. It could feel like 1 instead. So yeah, that's that. And then I wrote down in my journal, and I wrote it down here again. I read my journal to come up with some things to say, and I wrote down that the point isn't only to find God in the first place, the Christian God, but to stay in touch with him and stay in connection with him, in love with him, and keep respecting him and keeping him as the main priority in life. Because a lot of people can just find God for a second, but it's keeping in touch with him that's the hard part, because the devil is always trying to drag you back and pull you away from God. And that's the hardest part. Like, maybe you can like get a sense of feeling that there's a God for like a couple of seconds, and then it disappears again. It's about having it all the time and always keeping God in your mind. Always keeping Him as the number one priority. Thanking Him for everything that happens in your life. Because also that goes on to another point, that everything is given to you and to me. There's nothing to really be proud of in life. There's only appreciation for God and to God, because He has done everything to everyone. He built the universe, earth, humans, nature, animals, everything. And everything that happens to us is Him helping us. And yeah, there's nothing to be proud of. You shouldn't be proud of yourself. Also, I think, I don't want to say something false, but I'm pretty sure that is also something that is talked about in the Bible, that you shouldn't be prideful of anything. Appreciate God. I think that is told and that is written in the Bible, but I'm not sure actually. May have to write something like on the screen or something if that's wrong. But yeah. Okay. Something else. Okay. As I said in my last video, I think, when being kind to strangers and always thanking them for everything, I want to say that you never know when it's the last time that you get to see a specific person. So always treat it as if it's the last time that you're seeing that person. Like if you got your dad, for example, dropping you off at some place, driving you home or something, or anything like that. Thank him for it and be kind, because if he somehow dies, which of course I'm not hoping for, and probably many of you aren't hoping for, maybe you'll be sad if you don't really say goodbye and say goodbye, say you love him, something like that. Never end on a bad note. I also heard, who was it? I don't actually, I do. It's Matthew McConaughey. He said that you should never, he talked about this in like a marriage and relationship perspective, that you should never end something on a bad note, never go to bed on a bad note with some person. Stay up as long as you can to fix the problem, and then when the problem is fixed, then you can go to bed. Never go to bed on a unfinished or unsolved problem or discussion, because that will just build hatred towards the other person, and that's not good. So now I want to recommend some people that I really like, and I will also link to a couple of videos of theirs that I like and their channel. So the first person that I really like and that I listen to a lot is Lex Fridman. He's a podcaster, and I really love his podcasts because they aren't really as funny and joking as other podcasts, of course there's still some fun, but it's more deep. The conversations is more deep and thoughtful and meaningful and helpful to listen to. For example, some podcasts that I really like. I like the Jeff Bezos one that he did, but I think my favorite to this date, also the Dana White one is pretty good. But my favorite podcast of his is with Matthew McConaughey, the actor, because he is actually he's great. He has a lot of great thoughts, and yeah, he has some great stories to tell and some thoughtful things to say. Okay, next person. This is a Christian YouTuber that I found through some of his book reviews on some books. His name is Scheereddzz. It's like a long name. Of course, there's a link to his channel in the description, and two book reviews that he has done, because I have only listened to two of his videos, which is some book reviews, but they are great. They are really packed with value. They're really compressed with value and thoughts and things to write down, because I will go back on some of his videos actually and then journal down some of the things that he say, and then he takes from the books that he read, because they are really great. So yeah. Alright, next one. He's a Christian too, who frequently goes around college campuses in USA and debates with students about God and religion. His name is Cliffe Knechtle. Cliffe, yeah, he's great. Great guy. Link to his channel in the description. Next one, I already mentioned him, Lennox. He's a mathematician on Oxford, I think, and he has some great works and debates with atheists, and yeah. Next one, he's also a teacher, like John Lennox. He's a doctor. His name is Nabeel Qureshi. He was a former Muslim, but he then turned to Christianity when he realized all the proof for God. And yeah, I really like him, especially one of his videos that I will link in the description of him at Georgia Tech, where he talks about the proof for Jesus and his resurrection. And it is great. That is really how that I gained trust in that Jesus existed, because yeah, I need scientific proof, and he provided me with that when he talked about it. So yeah, yep, that's that. That's all the notes. Then I now have some Bible quotes, but I'll quickly end this video quickly. Alright, now I can focus again. I was just quickly on the toilet, so yeah, had to do that quickly. And I actually had a great thought. I at least think it's a great thought while I was urinating, taking a piss. And yeah, I think it's a great quote that I just came up with. And it's quote, "Nothing shall be kept hidden from a person who asks questions." Simple thing. But if you ask questions, they'll be answered. If you keep asking them, of course. Like, I always hate when a person can't answer my questions. I always seek an answer for my questions. For example, when I'm in school and I have a math problem, I ask my teacher about it. They can't answer it. And yeah, I think it's sad and I'm really disappointed with that. Okay, I just thought I heard something. But yeah, a teacher should always try or be able to answer a student's questions. And yeah, that's a problem that I at least experience in math. So yeah, let me return to the schedule. Actually, I skipped over something. A note. So I want to talk about my procedure for praying, like how I pray. So first, when I prayed, I always started with saying sorry and apologizing for the sins that I did. But I've now stopped with it because I don't really think there's any reason to ask God for forgiveness of the sins that I did. Of course, I still think that you can say sorry, but I don't really think you should or you need to ask for forgiveness to God for your sins, because Jesus Christ already paid the price for my sins, and he wiped out all my sins. Like, he paid the price for my sins so I can get to heaven. So I don't really think that that's like you really need to ask for forgiveness for your sins. Of course, I would be thankful if someone would correct me on that in the comments, because yeah, I want to know if I'm doing the right things. Also, now I just thank God mostly. Sometimes I beg for things like okay, let me tell you my procedure right now. So I start with sometimes saying sorry for sins I did. If I did any sins that day, just saying sorry, not apologizing, just saying sorry and acknowledging my sins. But then I give my thanks to God for loving and protecting my family, and I pray for I beg God for him to keep loving my family, keep protecting them, keep blessing them, and giving them a long and happy life and healthy life. And then I beg God to bless and protect and love all the weak and the people who are in troubles and that are vulnerable and weak and need help. I beg him to protect them, love them, bless them, and help them find Jesus Christ. Also, I say thanks to God for all the situations and wisdom and knowledge and conversations, connections, and love that I have experienced that day and in my life. And I thank him for creating everyone and helping everyone on earth, and a couple of other things. Okay, so now let's get over to two parts of the Bible that I have written down here. Took some time with that, and they are both parables from the Bible that I really like, because I think parables are super important, because it makes you think and it requires you to create your own thoughts on that parable. So alright, so first, this is Matthew chapter 13 verse 3 to 9. So, a sower went out to sow, and as he sowed, some seeds fell along the path, and the birds came and devoured them. Other seeds fell on rocky ground, where they did not have much soil, and immediately they sprang up, since they had no depth of soil. But when the sun rose, they were scorched, and since they had no root, they withered away. Other seeds fell among the thorns, and the thorns grew up and choked them. Other seeds fell on good soil and produced grain, some 100-fold, some 60, some 30. He who has ears, let him hear. And this talks about like the different kinds of people who hear the message of Christ. The people who hears about Jesus, but then when they experience hardship, they turn away from God. And some other people. And then the good soil is when people hears the message of Jesus Christ and understands it, and they can give back, and bring glory to God, and thank him and respect him. Alright, the next one. Ephesians. This is a letter from Paul. So Ephesians chapter 6 verse 13 to 17. Therefore take up the whole armor of God, that you may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all, to stand firm. Stand therefore, having fastened on the belt of truth, and having put on the breastplate of righteousness, and as shoes for your feet, having put on the readiness given by the gospel of peace. In all circumstances, take up the shield of faith, with which you can extinguish all the flaming darts of the evil one, and take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of God. So yeah, that's the two parts of the Bible that I want to read for you, and there's also a link to them in the description. So yeah, that's it. Have a lovely day. Thank God for everything He does for you, and a beautiful sunset. Thank God. God bless you all.